Hey guys, welcome to the Kickback FC. Thank you for joining us once again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
All right, welcome back to the Kickback FC. Once again, your go to spot for unfiltered real talk, all things soccer. You know, we've got it all. We're breaking down the biggest moments, hottest takes, and everything that you need to stay plugged into the world's game. We'll even tap into some other sports from time to time because if it's big in sports, we've got some thoughts on it. But whether this is your first time tuning in or you've been rocking it with us from the jump, again, I just want to say thank you to all of our friends and supporters. Once again, my name is Cornelius. I'm joined by my boys and fellow co-hosts. Golden Boot, Gabriel, how you feeling?
Feel good, tired, long weekend. Had a great time in Windsor playing for a Croatian team over there during a tournament. Lost in the finals, but outside of that, man, I feel good. Could be doing better, but I feel good. How you feeling, Salam?
Feel good, man. We just wrapped up our fantasy football draft. So football season is amongst us. Buckeyes won on the weekend. So feeling pretty good. Mike, how about you?
I'm feeling well, man. Can't complain. It's a holiday today, so got to do some holiday stuff. So can't complain, man. Cornelius, how about you, man?
Long weekend. Hope wanted it to be a restful weekend, but had some family in town, so I had to show him around Cleveland. Like you said, Buckeyes were back. College football is back. Football will be back this upcoming week, even though we have an international break. American football is back, so summer is officially over, bro. We're officially in that fall swing of things where you start seeing every sport start to pop up. We'll even get some basketball here in a couple of months, but right now we're going to keep it on the world's game. And where I want to start is transfers because the transfer window did end today in the Premier League and I believe in all of Europe. But there are some crazy moves, man. I know people are talking about this is one of the craziest windows of all time. With the money aspect, I do understand just because people are we've seen Isak go for 130 million euro now. So the numbers keep going up and up and up and up as far as what people are worth in this day and age. But I kind of just wanted to start with some of our teams, some of the teams around the league on these last deadline day signings. Um, I mean, I don't know if you guys wanted to just start with our specific teams or if with the notable ones, but I want to start with Isak because obviously that's the biggest one. 130 bags that happened a few days ago to Liverpool. They also were looking to get Mark Gahey. It looked like that fell through at the very last second. I'm not exactly sure if it was a physical um, or what the issue was there, but thank God Liverpool didn't get Gahey and Isak. I think even with Isak, they already are just going to be the team to beat. They're currently in first place in the Prem. I know we're only 3 weeks in, but Liverpool looks scary, man. I know Salam wanted to talk about teams that had one of the best windows, but Liverpool spent they went ahead and broke the record for the most money spent in a Premier League window. So, what do we think about Liverpool?
I mean, it's unlike Liverpool. The Liverpool we've seen in the recent past. They haven't spent as much. If we look at Liverpool last season, they didn't spend as much. I believe their only incoming transfer was Chiesa, right? If I'm not mistaken. And then they go out and really splash the cash after winning the league. And I think there's a switch in who is going to be running the Premier League after this transfer. Isak is a great player. We know what he brings. There's no doubt. Last season, he was probably second best to Salah as one of the best strikers in the league. So I think adding him to what they already have, they are definitely the favorites right now. They're the team to beat. And as the season goes on, we'll see, barring any injuries, if they don't get any injuries, we'll see how they look. But as of right now, with this transfer, I think they are the favorites.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said, Mike. I think whenever you add one of the best strikers in the league to what's already a good team, it'd be hard to, bet against Liverpool, especially with they already have Ekitike in there now. I mean, Salah is still doing his thing. And then I'm sure we'll talk about the game a little bit later, but I think also the timing of the signing also too was a statement. A big win against Arsenal, and then deadline day. It's like, yo, we all kind of I've figured that this move was going to happen, but it drug out for as long as they did. Newcastle obviously had to get their guy, but no, it's a massive move for them, and for him as an individual, man. And it's great to see a Habasha brother be the world record, British record for a Premier League transfer. I think that's awesome. An Eritrean guy, so shout out to him, and shout out to Liverpool, man. I hated Liverpool. Obviously, is a big rival of United, but honestly, when I saw him like in the pictures, him signing there, I was like, man, this is one of those moves where puts the league on notice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, on paper, they're definitely the best team in the league right now. I mean, they broke the transfer record twice in one window. I don't think that's ever been done before. So with Verts first, and then now with Isak. So, I mean, yeah, after winning the league, they went and spent the most money out of everyone and got 2 world-class players and an already on stacked squad at that. So, yeah, man, massive transfer. Man. I hate it personally, but hey, happy for Isak personally, but I hate it.
Yeah, I feel like for everyone else in the league, it's just one of those things where we kind of knew it was coming, especially after he's sat out through the first few weeks of the season. So it was one of those things where I feel like just the business had to be good on both sides. But yeah, congrats to Liverpool. They got their guy. I don't want to hear any Liverpoools fans screaming about how we don't spend money and we do it the good way. And yeah. Maybe that was Klopp, but this is the Arnie Slot way. He's saying we can spend some bread. We can afford it. So, welcome to the big boys, I guess.
But like
But
to your point, Cornelius, like what something must have had to change though, because Klopp was at the time he was saying like we can't do what Man City does. We can't just do. Even Omar was saying stuff like that too, and we used to always give him a hard time about it. But this summer, I don't know, something must have changed. Like yes, they got a bunch of money from winning the Premier League, but like Gabriel
I
said,
mean,
two record transfers like this,
yeah,
something happened back there.
I mean,
internally,
they didn't.
I don't know, but I feel like personally, the way I'm looking at it is sorry to cut you off, Mike, but they won the league kind of without really expecting to win the league. And Arnie Slot probably went to them last year like, hey, I need my guys if I want to dominate. And then he won and he lost a few players and he's like, okay, now give me my players. If you truly like you saw what I was able to do with just the team I inherited. If you give me my boys, I can go run the league for the next X amount of, and I feel like maybe that's kind of how he pumped his chest out a little bit because bro, none of us expected him to win the league last year. And we kind of all kind of sat back and were like, yo, Liverpool didn't do anything this summer. So the fact that he was able to win the league, and then now he lost a few players, but go by, I think they're putting all their chips in on Arnie Slot and saying, I think you have what it takes to go be what City was the last 5-6 years in the league.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you touched on it. Them not spending last summer also, can be attributed to this. They sold some guys. They sold, I believe, Diaz. They sold the guy that went to Al Hilal, Nunez. They sold Nunez as well. So I mean, it's not all just
They got Harvey Elliott out there, I think, on deadline day too.
Exactly. So it's not all incoming. They sold some guys too, but it's actually quite interesting. I also think where City is at also plays into it, and even Mo Salah, where Mo Salah is at. These investments, I think they're doing it with Mo Salah leaving in a couple of years. So I think they're not just spending just for now. I think this is for the next couple of years to come. Who knows? They might not. They might not make any signings the next few windows. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean when you look around, not necessarily the league, but the world, the players that they're getting, they're getting the right players to kind of fit that Liverpool mold and to stay there for a while. Liverpool, even when you think about Coutinho and Mane, they bought those guys, but they invested in them for 4 or 5, 6, 7 years. They were like, yo, we want you guys to have a core here. And that's kind of how Liverpool does it. So we probably won't see them spend like this again for another 4 or 5 years, but it's not like they'll probably need to either. Not like a team like Tottenham. A team like Tottenham went ahead and they just kind of went crazy this summer, ending this window with getting Kolo Muani. It was reported today that he will be going as well to Spurs, and then we were talking about Xavi Simons, and where he would go, whether it be Chelsea, and he ended up getting scooped up by Tottenham as well. So, how do y'all feel about this Tottenham new attack?
Dangerous. I think Tottenham is one of the teams that we haven't respected in the past, but that's gonna have to change very soon. I mean, they're European champions. They were what PKs away from getting a Super Cup. So I think the moves they just made the last week, I mean, they're serious. They want a challenge for the league. I think every move they've made this summer is telling me that they want to be serious. They're ready to make that jump. And I think they had a great window. So Tottenham it's a team we need to watch out for this season. I absolutely believe it.
Yeah, I think I'm being honest, outside of you can maybe say outside of Liverpool, I think Spurs had the best window out of anyone. I mean, I think we had a decent window, but I'm looking at other teams like they read up and they got everything that they needed. It kind of perfectly fit their team. They needed wingers, they needed another attacker. I think they brought another defender as well. They needed support, and I mean they got that support. Levy spent the money this summer. Usually we see him be very stingy, but now he was able to get it done. So, I think honestly, they had, you can put whatever order, but they had a top 3 window to me, if not the best window out of anyone in the league. So they're dangerous.
Yeah, I mean the Xavi Simone signing is a great signing, especially considering we knew that they were in for Eze, so getting an alternative quickly after that fell through, I think was good on them, and I think that he's going to be good for them. Again, they need someone in that 10 role to kind of kickstart things offensively for them. Right now, I mean they just strike me as like a really good counter-attacking team, but adding someone like him, I think really could make that difference because defensively, I actually think that they're pretty good. I think with Van der Ven back there, with Romero, the keeper, and I mean I don't know. Jed Spence, I feel like has had a little bit of a resurgence. I don't think the last game is particularly his best game, but the 2 games prior to that, he was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think Simons is going to be good. Moani, I don't know. I really don't see much of a difference between him and Richarlison, if I'm being honest with you, especially considering that this is his first season in the Prem as well too. So I don't know. I think against teams where they have to counterattack, I think that he's going to add pace with Brendan Johnson. I mean, you could probably argue they probably have the fastest attack in the league with him now too. But yeah, I think it's a good move for them. Both of those 2 guys, on top of all the other guys they did earlier in the summer.
Yeah, I feel like Spurs they're going to be a project as well. Thomas Frank is still getting to know this team, I feel like, and we've seen what he's done with Brentford, but even that team took a second to get to where they are now. So I feel like this first year with Tottenham is going to be a learning curve for both the manager and the players. But a team that actually, we were just talking about Liverpool, and they got Isak from Newcastle United. Newcastle also made some last minute moves. They got Nick Woltemade. I don't. Excuse
Yeah,
me if
you're right.
I pronounce his name incorrectly, but tall striker from Stuttgart over in the Bundesliga, and they also got Johan Wissa from Brentford. So to add to Jacob Ramsey, who they got, at the beginning of the summer, but not the beginning of the summer, but a few weeks ago. So they lost Isak, but they got 2, 3 more attackers. I know that Anthony Gordon is out with that red card for the next couple of matches. So this is actually huge for these guys to kind of make their stamp on this Newcastle team. Do we think that the players that they had incoming kind of make up for what they're losing in Isak? Obviously, no one is Alexander Isak; he's a special player. But do you think that they'll be able to stay afloat? Last 2-3 years, this team was in the top five, top six. They're currently in Champions League, so they're going to have a lot of competitions to be in this year. What do we feel about Newcastle?
For me, it's not really about their attack. I think their attack will be fine with the signings that they made. Honestly, I think the striker that they brought in has been in high regard for a little bit now. He had a couple of teams looking at him, and I think just overall with their attack when Gordon comes back, I think they'll be fine. My question to Newcastle truly is more about their midfield and like their back line. I'm not. I feel like they're very low on numbers and quality midfielders that they have. And I think Joel Linton, I don't know if he went down this week or last week, but I know he had a little knock recently. Um, Tonali's great. They have a decent midfield. It's just if one guy gets injured, or something happens, I feel like this team is going to break down very quickly. And it's not the same team. So I think attacking wise, I think they'll be fine. I think they invested the money correctly, and um, you know they still have Alanga. They brought in Alanga as well. Their attack is going to be great. It's more for me is their midfield going to be able to hold up, throughout the course of the season. But I think attacking wise, they'll be fine. They'll still get the goals.
Yeah, I think they will still, they'll still be a decent side. They could possibly get Europa League or Conference League. I think they have good players to do that. But would they look like the Newcastle with Isak? I say no, because it's also a mental thing. Having a player like Isak leading your attack, it makes a difference. And now you have to, try to gel with most of these guys that are coming in. So they'll still be a good side, but I feel like they would have games where, that chemistry that they don't have yet might show. So we'll see. But they will not look like the team with Isak, but they will still be a good side.
Yeah, so I do want to talk about just a few more teams before we hop into more of the play. Sunderland, and I just want to give a quick apology now because I know I'm going to pronounce some of these names incorrectly, but Transfer News Live on Twitter, they posted a graphic of Sunderland and who they spent on this summer. It's a list of about 10 people. So I'll just say these names. Dutch player named Geer Truida, who they got on loan. Mukiel for 12 million. Dia for 31.5 million. Lefi for 23 million. Talbi from Morocco for 23 million. Adingra, 21 million. Sadiki, 17 million. Reynildo, they got for free. Xhaka, 20 million. Roos, another Dutch player, 14.5 million. Masuaku for free. And Alderete for 12 million. They got a lot of players who we do know, a lot of players who we don't know. But, through three matches, I believe it was Mike's MLS or Premier League recap this past week. 2 wins in three weeks, man. This team looks good. Between them and Burnley, I was just telling Gabriel earlier today, I think both of these teams have enough to stay up this year. I like a lot about what I've seen in these first few weeks, but the Sunderland team, I feel like they understand that they need to spend if they want to stay in the top league. We saw Nottingham Forest do this last year where they just went and spent and spent and spent. So far, so good. Do we think the Sunderland team is going to stay up in the Prem based on what we've seen these 3 weeks with their new signings?
Yep, 100%. I said this week one. I think Granit Xhaka and Adingra were enough to keep them up this summer or this year. Um, I truly think that this team will stay up. I think there are teams in the Prem that are worse than them. And I think they'll still be in a relegation battle. I still think they'll be lingering around, but I truly think that they'll go up or stay up. I truly think that they'll stay. I don't. I really don't see them dropping back down. If I had to bet my money on any of the teams that got promoted this year, it would be on Sunderland. 100% be on Sunderland. So I can see them staying up. We'll see.
All right, let me ask you guys this question: Are they better than Brentford?
Sunderland.
Yeah, Sunderland. Sunderland better than Brentford.
Man, it's hard to say that though. They just got here 3 weeks in. Like,
Okay, are they better than Wolves?
I mean, Brentford, you could make an argument just because of all the losses.
New manager,
oh
and
yeah,
they lost a lot of players. And I mean,
yeah.
this,
I mean,
this Brentford team just
potentially, are they better than Wolves? I
Are they
think
better than
so.
Wolves?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Wolves. I think, yeah, that's over.
Like, I think it's time for Wolves.
I think they're better than those two teams. I honestly do. Because even if you look at this Sunderland team, even just with Shaka alone and Adingra, they have guys that have been in the Prem. Masuaku has been in the Prem with West Ham before, so I mean he's used to the Prem. They have guys that have some Prem experience. So, and with the investment they've made, I just don't see them going down. I just don't.
I mean, they just got Traore too, right? He came
Hmm.
from Burkina Faso. But I think that, like you said, I think that they're better than Wolves. I would say they're better than West Ham. I think they're better than Burnley. I think
I
Burnley's
think
gonna
they're
be
better than Leeds.
a tough road. Yeah, Leeds
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
Leeds is one team. I expected a little bit more from them. I know it's only been 3 games, but I don't know, man. I'm whatever. What happened to Bamford, man? Like
Yeah, Farkas said he wasn't in his plans. He
Farkas.
just straight dropped him. It was a whole thing. So a lot of people were saying that if their first couple of games don't go very well, he'll probably be the first guy to go.
Farke?
Yeah, because he came out, I believe, with like 2 weeks to go for the season to start, and he was like, "Yeah, Bamford is not in my plans," because he was not playing him all preseason, and everybody was wondering what was going on. And he had a little press conference and say that, "Hey, I love the guy. He's a professional, but he's just not in my plans this season." So I think they just got a new striker, Calvin Lewin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah,
He went there.
yeah. Calvin Lewin is a elite striker now. So we'll see what
Mm,
happens with them.
mm,
I don't know. You
mm.
should have stayed, brother. You should have
Yeah, I
stayed.
don't know about all that.
You
Because
gotta
I was
get the
just I was just watching highlights, and Mr. Calvert-Lewin had a few chances to go put that game away, and he did not.
Yeah.
But that's
So
that's talk for another time. But the last team I do want to talk about, because we kind of talked about Everton last year or last week, and how Jack Grealish is just balling. And I do, if we have time at the end, I do want to talk about Grigri a little bit, because he was also Salam's recap this week. Shout outs to everyone who's been commenting and liking on our recaps. We do see the love out there. Again, if you don't know, at the end of each match week, we do have some thoughts just about some teams we don't usually talk about, or teams that stood out to us from the previous weekend. So we do drop our recaps usually every Monday, sometimes on Tuesday, depending on how the games flow. But United, it looks like they finally got their goalkeeper, Slum. That's been an area of contention, an area of discussion. I don't know much about this cat, so you're gonna have to fill me in. Do you know much about him, and how do you feel with the new goalkeeper change?
Sane Lemons. That's our new goalkeeper. Shout out to bro. Hopefully, you can be a little bit more reliable than we have right now. But no, I mean, what, 20 million move. I don't know. I feel like for a keeper, that could be considered a lot of money.
It's decent money, yeah.
But yeah, he's a young guy. Obviously playing at Royal Antwerp. I don't know. It seems like a project, another project. But he's a young guy that I believe will be able to grow with this team. I already already before he even suits up. I already know there will be some growing pains, and that's expected because of how big the job is and how big the team is, especially considering just ever since we've lost De Gea, just this goalkeeper position has just been an issue for us. So hopefully he can come in and bring us some stability. But I like the move. It was between him and Martinez from Aston Villa. And honestly, uh, I'm not gonna lie to you. I wanted Martinez just because he was a proven player and could have just brought some personality, some experience to the back line. But I like the direction that we're going. If you're going to invest in this young route and have this guy grow with this team, then I think he fits that profile. But I already know, bro. Like it's not going to be, and it could be game one versus Man City. I don't know, but I know that there's going to be growing pains. That's expected. But I like the move. I don't think that it should have taken as long as it did. Um, but I like him coming into the team. And I would have loved our transfer window a little bit better had we brought in a midfielder, but that didn't happen. So we're just rolling with the guys that we got until January. Shout out to Sancho, got his big move too. Before we get out, shout out to Sancho, got his big move. Shout out to Anthony. Um, yeah, bro. Anthony, I was a little disappointed to see the money that we got for him, especially considering the money that we spent for him. And I don't know. You could even argue that he probably could have been more productive in our team than Delo, but that's an argument. But shout out to those two guys, though, man, and shout out to all the guys that left United. I hope you guys do well.
You forgot one.
Who?
Alejandro.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. I just want to say this. I mean, we can transition to Chelsea afterwards because he's your player now. He's your problem now. Um, no, I think you guys definitely got him for a bargain. I think definitely for the money that you
Mhm.
guys paid, and I think that really just speaks to the I don't know the environment, the falling out that happened between him and the manager. Um, I don't know, man. That's something that you also have to look at as well, too. You know what I'm saying? The relationship the manager has with some of these players, it affects the price on outgoings. And it's not just him. I mean, he's had his beef with quite a few guys, but this is a young guy where, we all anticipate has a decent ceiling, has a lot of room to grow. But for us to be losing out on a young kid who is younger than 21 years old for about 40 million, I think really just speaks to us as a club. But shout out to him. I hope he works out for you guys. I don't think he's that great. I think he's firmly probably I think the lowest winger that you guys have on your totem pole, but that's just my opinion. But shout out to him, man. I think Mike, you'll like him. I know you'll like him. Yeah, shout
Hey,
out
as
to him.
long as he's better than Joao Felix.
Oh, wow. Nah, I mean
I mean,
he's not better than Neto. He's not better than Esteval. He's not better than I don't know
Gittins.
Gittins. Um, I mean we'll see, but I ain't gonna lie. I'm happy. Out of all the people that left, I'm happy he's gone. But that's y'all guys now. So
All right.
yeah. I mean, I didn't really have much to say about our transfers. I don't know, Mike, if you want to touch on that.
I mean, we had the little Jackson debacle
sure.
at the end, but it looks like we're gonna make some money off of him because Bayern was able to seal it with an obligation to buy. So hopefully, if everything goes as planned, we should get a decent chunk for Jackson. But Garnacho deal, man, I'm not too mad about it, man, because I know he's not gonna come in and be the guy we depend on. So I'm not too mad about it. Having that type of talent in our environment, I think he's going to flourish. So I'm happy and excited to see him play for us. As long as he has that jersey on, we're going to support him. That's the most important thing. And Buonanotte, another one that I've seen, on Leicester and Brighton that
I didn't have much thoughts about. I'm like, you're a decent player. I never thought, hey, he would be playing for Chelsea one day. But we'll see what happens with that one too. He looks like a decent player to me, so I'm not too mad about it. The job our recruitment have done these past few years and these windows, I mean, I'm not too mad. At this point, I know what they're looking for. I know what they're looking at. As long as you're able to get us a guy that's actually going to contribute to us getting to where we used to be or where we want to be, that's fine with me. Just make the right decisions. Um, like I said, with the keeper situation is the only thing that I'm still not sure about. But Windows closed now, so hey, we're running it back with him. So just gotta just accept it and support him. But overall, I thought it was a pretty decent window. I mean, we made a lot of money too, over 300 million in sales. We saw Chilwell going to Strasbourg. We sold our player to our own self. Hey
Creative
man,
accounting.
hey, you just got to do what you got
Hey,
to do.
it's all legal till they say you can't do it anymore, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
But no, I think that was a good
But,
place to end with
yeah.
our transfers. And yeah, I just wanted to say that, two records being broke, kind of like what Gabriel said. Liverpool spending the most, and then Chelsea getting the most on active transfers out. So just to be noted there too. But before we talk about our teams, I do want to hop over back to the U.S. for a second. Not really to talk about the MLS so much, but to talk about the League Cup final.
Mm.
Some drama after
Royal Rumble.
yeah, after Inter Miami took the smackdown.
Mm.
Since we're using wrestling terminology. Yeah, they got smacked up 3-0. Lost the final to Seattle Sounders. And just shout out to the Seattle Sounders, man, because as an organization, there was something I was reading about them. If you look at the, well, I can't remember the manager's name right now.
Was it the former Ziggy Smith? Is it him?
Yeah, who's the manager of Seattle Sounders?
Oh,
Brian
right
Schmelzer.
now.
Brian
Yeah,
Schmelzer.
Oh, okay,
yes,
okay,
thank you. Just the job since he's been there, and if you
okay.
look at Seattle since what was it, 2016, they've been in about four finals. They've won two. Um, just talking about how they are as an organization. We talk about the Crew and how the Crew are kind of one of those organizations that we look at in the MLS. We talk about LA Galaxy, when we talk about teams that have won trophies and just good organizations that you kind of aspire to be. The Sounders have done it in multiple eras too. So, it was cool to see them kind of get another trophy, but what transpired after, you know, you seeing cats like Suarez over here spitting on
It's embarrassing.
yeah, it's just bad, man. It's a bad way to go out. And the crazy part is I was reading about it a little bit before we hopped on, and it said that based on what reports are saying, they don't think that Suarez or Busquets will. They may get fined, but they don't know if they'll miss any games because the League's Cup is separate from
Yeah.
CONCACAF and separate from MLS. It's its own entity. So they, the worst that can happen is that Suarez and Busquets get some
Fine.
sort of ban for the next League's Cup matches, but those aren't until, and you have to get
Nah.
what's it called? You have to qualify for that. So who knows how that's gonna happen, but people are calling for Suarez and Busquets and a lot of those teammates on Inter Miami to get out of here. How do y'all feel about it?
Yeah, it's disappointing, bro. It's very disappointing. And Suarez. I'll get to Suarez here in a second because I'm not very surprised about Suarez. I was very surprised with Busquets. I'm not gonna lie. I was very surprised because he was the one that always struck me as like, I don't know, bro. Like I would never imagine you doing something like that. You blatantly throwing a punch. I understand that you used to play for Barcelona. You probably did that shit a lot, but because you played for Barcelona, you know how La Liga is. We'll just turn the other cheek when it comes to certain situations. But no, I think it's a disgrace. I don't think that it's a good look, especially for the league. I think it just shows like what they think of the league. That's kind of what I got from it. You spend all this money to bring them in. You spend all this money for them to, just
raise awareness of the game, and be kind of like ambassadors for the league. And then for you to come in and just kind of like, I mean, no pun intended, just spit on like the league. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's a good look, especially of players of their caliber. These are guys that, we've watched from our youth to as adults. And I don't know, man, there's no place for that. And Suarez, I mean, I'm not surprised, man. I'm not surprised at all. A very sore loser. Some say he'll do anything to win. The ultimate competitor, but nah, bro. I think it was completely disrespectful. I think this is on a long list of things that he's done that are just, you don't have any room for that in the game. And like I said, I just don't think that it's a good look for the league. They brought you in as ambassadors for the sport here in this country, and you come in here and literally just spit on them because they outplayed you. They won 3-0. It wasn't like they beat you 1-0 on a controversial call. We beat you guys, like damn near scored two extra stoppage time goals on you. So
yeah. No, I agree with everything you said. I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, everything you said is facts. That's the same I got from it. You guys came in, you guys are supposed to kind of help promote the league. And I understand you played with the top teams back in your heyday, but you're not there anymore. And I think just that ego of having played in big competition and won, big trophies, maybe they felt like, we should just take this as well. And hey, shout out to the Sounders. They came out and played a great game and deservingly 3-0 won the title. And I mean, Suarez, I've never loved Suarez, but there's so much you could say, but we'll leave it at that. Salam said everything, and it's just embarrassing. I think they should be suspended. You need to send a message that we're not just going to bring guys in just because of your name and give you passes just because you're Messi's buddies. You have to send a message. You have to send a message.
I agree. You need to send a message. They should definitely be suspended because there's no room in any sport, or I don't feel like in life, to ever spit on someone. I feel like that's one of the biggest forms of disrespect that you could give someone, is to literally spit on them. So yeah, they should definitely be suspended. Um, and yeah, they should. I mean, we'll see how the league handles this, because if they don't get any games or anything, or if they only get fined, it should be a hefty fine, like something that they're gonna feel, not just 20,000, 100,000, where it's like it's chump change for them. But we'll see how the league handles this, because this will set precedent for things like this going on in the future. So we'll see.
Yeah, and shout out to Golazo America. They had the post on Twitter that was kind of echoing what I said earlier. So they said the Sounders became the first club to capture every major North American soccer trophy. So they won the MLS Cup in 2016 and 2019, US Open Cup in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2014, Supporter Shield also in 2014, CONCACAF Champions Cup in 2022, and then just the Leagues Cup this past weekend. So, shout out to the Sounders. Like I said, man, they're just one of those clubs that has etched their name into American soccer lore. You know that when you go to that club, you're going to play for a good organization from top to bottom. So you have to work, but if you do put in the work, then you will see the benefits. So just want to say shout out to them, because I know, the fight and all the actions after the match kind of overshadowed what should have been a great celebration for them. And I'm sure they still had a great time, but, on the field, that kind of just took away from the match. So again, shout out to the Sounders. But I'll be back over to the UK, back across the pond. Let's get into our teams, man. It's for the first time in a long time, United is not going first. Lucky. Ain't that crazy? We know Gabriel was playing a soccer tournament over in Canada this past weekend, so he was scoring some goals on his own. But fortunately, maybe Arsenal could have used him this weekend as well, as they were not able to score at the Cup at Anfield. Gabriel had some pretty hefty predictions, without Saka, knowing with that they had Eze, but Odegaard would had a knock. Um, to be honest, I expected to see more of Odegaard and I expected to see more of Eze. I think they got a 20-minute cameo at the end when it was just a little bit too late. I know Eze had that one chance at the end there, but for me, the whole game was kind of. I feel like neither team really truly got settled until.
Hmm.
I mean, honestly, even after the goal, I feel like there was a point in the match for me. I'll say it this way: there was a point in the match for me where I kind of figured it would end in a 0-0 draw. I think Arsenal played better. They had more chances, if you want to call them half chances, maybe, based on those corners. I think Nani Madueke was very exciting on the outside, but never really there in the final third to give that threat of a true goal type experience. But I think Liverpool, if they're able to play like that and still get wins, this is going to be another championship run for them. Like I said, I think Arsenal had the better overall day, but nothing really showed up on the stat sheet. It was kind of one of those matches where I feel like they were each trying to fill each other out, but it was also kind of open, but not truly open. It was a weird match to watch, and just a moment of brilliance from Szoboszlai, and they get the 3 points and they move. I can tell you right now, Arnie Slide was happy to get 3 points because I can guarantee you at some point he was probably playing for a draw as well. But Salam, Mike, your thoughts on this match?
Um, First of all, I would love to know what Gabriel's thoughts were about that lineup because I'm confused. Hasn't Eze been playing already in the league? What do you need to sit him down for? See, I never understand that with managers, man. Like, what is it? Why did? I mean, this is not a guy you need to ease into any lineup. The quality is there. I mean, it's Liverpool. You need a guy like that. I did not understand the midfield at all. To me, it was a very tight game. I do not think in any shape or form did Liverpool outplay Arsenal. I just thought it was a back and forth game. And before the first goal, before the free kick, Liverpool was definitely taking a little bit of control in the game. And then after that free kick happened, it kind of went back and forth again. But overall, I just didn't think Arteta's setup came to win the game. I just don't believe that. I think he came to be more defensively sound against this Liverpool team. That's what I believe. Because the combination of Zubimendi, Declan Rice, and Marino just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. Are you telling me if Odegaard is not going to play, you're telling me Eze is not good enough to start that game over Marino? I just don't get that. And to me, I just think the setup he just didn't set this team up to go win this game.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I'm not even. I think Arteta failed us this match. Like you said, Mike, I understand Odegaard got a knock last match, but Eze's been playing all summer. He played in a Community Shield. He's been playing in preseason matches. Our 10 goes down. I don't understand why he's not starting. I don't even understand why you don't start Nwaneri there. I just, again, I don't get it. And then also, man, I'm pissed it's already deadline day because this Martinelli experiment is I'm so over it, bro. I'm done with it. This guy, he needs to go. This is just someone who's going to continue to hold our team back. He doesn't make our team better. He makes our team worse at this point. And it's time for him to find a new club. This has to be the last year where I see Martinelli starting in any type of big match unless we're literally down all of our numbers. And I don't even know why Trossard didn't start this match. There's so many other options better than Martinelli. And not only did Martinelli play, he got 70 full minutes. Why?
Criminal.
Why? It's like the Willian effect again. Like, bro, it's like I said, I feel like Arteta failed us this game, and I can't even put it on the players. we got beat by one moment of brilliance by a brilliant player who smacked a free kick from 30 yards out that not many people would have. Not many keepers would have saved. So if that's how we have to lose to Liverpool, so be it. I can't be mad at my players for, doing their job defensively, really holding everyone. Salah really didn't do much. TK really didn't do much. You know, yeah, it's a tough way to take a loss, obviously, because I feel like we did enough to get the draw, or get a result at Anfield. But yeah, man, when I feel like Arteta's trying to play it safe and or tries to play it safe when we get a new signing, maybe because he doesn't want people to critique, too much too early. Or, bro, if you want to win the Premier League, you have to take risks. Simple as that. You have to take risks, and sometimes the risk may not pay off, but if it does pay off, it'll pay off in a major way. And the fact that he didn't take risks, really wasn't much creativity, no one really to buzz, like I said, no one really to drive down the pitch, and I mean, you saw it lacked. Yeah, man, it's tough. I mean, if that's how we lose, like I said, if that's how we lose to Liverpool, and that's how we can see that game, fine. That's one of the best teams in the league. But if that's how we're going to play against everyone, I don't see how there's many teams that are going to beat us either. Simple as that. So, like I said, one goal against, a goal happened to be probably the goal of the week, one of the free kicks of the year that we'll probably be seeing over and over the course of the season when awards time comes. And this doesn't make me look at my team any differently, if I'm being honest. I'm just today I'm looking at the manager. I think the manager failed us. He didn't put us in the best position to win, and I feel like that contributed to the result that we got. So it is what it is. I'm not mad at the boys. It's we passed one test, we failed the other. And honestly, I wouldn't even consider it a fail, truthfully. Like, we played well. So despite, not having three of our main guys, also Saliba goes down, second minute, Mascara comes in, looks amazing from the beginning. So, it's unfortunate that we're dealing with these injuries this early. Obviously, we want to have these players while we have a tough run of matches. I mean, we have really good teams that we play. We played City, and I believe right after the international break, played Newcastle, Nottingham Forest. So we have tough matchups. So it's tough to have these injuries this early especially when we need those guys. But at the end of the day, just next man up, and I think we'll be fine going into the next match. I think the international break will do as well. Hopefully, get some guys back and some guys rested, so we don't have to, I don't have to see Martinelli again in an Arsenal kit. So,
yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up. Just your last point about Saliba going down, because now, I mean, with Saliba going down, I mean, you're down Odegaard and Saka. If you were to, obviously you don't wish injury upon anyone, but those three would probably be,
our spine, bro.
Yeah.
Two of those players are part of our spine.
Amongst the top of the list of people that you wouldn't want out of the lineup. But no, and I agree with points that both of you guys made, Cornelius and Mike. I feel like Arteta's at a point now too where you kind of don't have to be so pragmatic all the time. Like, you have good players, you can kind of go toe to toe in certain situations. I understand that Saka, one of the best players in the league, is not out, but I mean, he's played in the Premier League before. He's played against. I think he's actually played against Liverpool like quite a bit in the last few weeks. So you're not really sheltering him from anything that he hasn't already seen before. So, yeah. But I think the injuries, that's a tough spot to be in, especially considering the season just started. But for you guys to lose on a goal like that, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, one of the best free kicks I've seen in a while, honestly. There was one few when they showed it, from when it was behind him. Wow, he really hit that very well. That was my shout out this week. Yeah, shout out.
Nothing anyone can do about it. So it's one of those where it's like,
Raya, full stretch. You know,
I
Yeah,
mean, with the sorry, Saliba's injury, you guys just picked up what Hincapi.
yeah.
Um, he might be. You might have already a solution in the building in Mascara, but
I
what
think
are
I
your
can,
expectations for this new guy?
um honestly, I really don't know. I wasn't expecting to. I mean, it wouldn't be an Arsenal transfer window if we didn't sign a defender, but um, I, I'm I'm kind of surprised and interested in where he's going to fit. Obviously, he's our Gabriel backup for left center back. Because Kivior left this transfer window, but
Hmm.
it's weird. I mean, we have Luis Skelly, we have Calafiori, we have Gabriel, and now we have Hanakapi. Han- I don't. I think that's how you say it. Hankapi.
Hincapi,
Hincape.
yeah.
Hincape. So, sorry, my head is gone. So, yeah, no, I think he'll just be Gabriel backup. Obviously, he's still very young, but I just it's interesting what he's going to do with Calafiori. You know, Miles Lewis Skelly and Hankapi. It's going to be interesting because they're all going to want to play. And they're all pretty good players. So I'm excited to see what he provides. But I know Mascara looks great. The first two matches I've seen him come in, he's looked good so far. He looks up for it, and I mean it's unfortunate, but we're going to need him. We already need him. We already need him to play a lot of minutes and big minutes as well, with some upcoming matches as well. So no, I think he'll cope well, and he has good guys around him as well. He has tenured guys around him to kind of help him, and you know I think we'll be fine in that respect. So like I said, I'm not worried about us defensively. I'm worried about us offensively.
No, that's fair. Yeah, no, I think that's a good place to end it at Arsenal. Like you said, this is just one of those where you just gotta tip your hat to Soboslai and just move to the next week. Like you said, with you also getting those injuries and being able to put in that type of performance. Like I said, I think you guys outplayed Liverpool for the most part. It wasn't the best match to watch, but if you can get through that kind of game, then you definitely have a bright spot to look forward to for the rest of the season. Having guys that can step up. But talk about having guys that can step up. Manchester United needed a win. Ruben Amorim's been the talk of the town these last couple of weeks. Getting a very very early boot from the good old FA Cup
No,
Carabao.
Carabao.
or Carabao
Carabao.
Cup. I'm sorry, Carabao Cup. Um, Rajat was on here last week, and both of you were looking at 6 points. Luckily that you Bruno was able to save you on the weekend, but yeah, just take me through your week, Salam. From the loss in the Carabao all the way to the 3-2 thriller against Burnley. Y'all kind of had. We said this in the group, man. United's always going to be the talk of the town. You guys are very exciting, whether it's on the pitch, off the pitch. There's always something going on. So your last 7 days have been a roller coaster for sure. Kind of just take us through it.
Yeah, it's been a wild week to say the least. Shout out to Grimsby Town. This is the first time I'm ever hearing about this team, this club, but shout out to them. And you know what, man? Honestly, I said what I said a few weeks ago about where my stance was with the manager. And I knew obviously like we were going to struggle just from watching the first 2 weeks. We're going to struggle a lot this season if we continue playing. If everything stays the same, we're going to continue struggling. But wow, that Grimsby game really put a lot of things in perspective in the sense of, anybody can have a go at us. Anybody can have a go at us. I know we were joking in the group chat. I think Gabriel said, I think the number one team in college could probably have a go at us. And I mean, I don't know, man. To be very honest with you, like the full circle moment for me of that game, I don't really want to spend too much time on it. Was you made this, you as in the manager, you made this choice in not starting Onana for the two Premier League games. Which, you know, if you wanted to get a new goalkeeper in, it is what it is. Then don't start him. I understand that. But then but then you start him midweek, and the ironic thing is that it goes into penalties where we have to rely on the keeper. Onana, I think, has made one save for us. Um, and I think that was a game-winning save. So shout out to him. But nah, I mean, nah, it's just terrible, man. Midweek was terrible. I think we scored our first goal from open play, so that was nice. But yeah, bro. I mean, fast forward to Saturday, the weekend. I mean, some of the fans were singing midweek. We wished we played you every week. We wish we played you every week. That's how I felt about Burnley this past weekend. Wow, I really wish we played Burnley every week, because Burnley's a team that I feel like, you know, they won't punish you like the other teams in the Premier League. But no, man, I don't think that it really changes anything.
And not for nothing, they
From
almost did, bro.
they
I
did,
don't want to say they won't punish you because they kind of almost did. Like I
yeah, they
that
did.
Jaden Anthony guy and you know the Forster,
Hmm.
they did what they had to do. It's just that you know
Right.
you guys got the penalty in the end, which was a penalty, but
Yeah, but I mean, to your point, I mean that could have easily went, you know, if that's not
either way,
called, yeah, if
yeah.
that's not called, I mean that looks really bad now on the manager. But I think even winning the way that we did, I think just really reinforces a lot of what we know. That we're gonna struggle against everybody. It doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what the level is, whether you're a fourth division team or second division team, or you're a team that just got promoted in the Premier League. You know, we're gonna struggle. So no, I mean I think it just really reinforced everything that we know. This guy is going to continue making the same decisions. He doesn't adjust, can't really adjust in game at all. Tactically is not flexible. So that's not something that I'd like to see in my manager. Very stubborn in the way he's going about things. I mean, thank God the transfer window is closed and Kobe's not going anywhere. But yeah, bro, I don't really see, you know, too much changing. I think that it's a good win for them and the morale of the team going into the international break, especially considering I think on the other side of that we have City and I think Chelsea not too soon after that. But nah, man, I don't. It doesn't change anything for me. If anything, it really just reinforces, you know, my stance where I am with this manager, and that's, you know, it's still early enough in the season. If we go into, you know, in a different direction with someone, I can't believe I'm already saying this, but we can kind of salvage the points that we've lost. But yeah, man, firmly like out on this guy. But shout out to the boys and shout out to Delo and Bruno. You know, you got the man. You see the way he celebrated too. It was like,
Yeah,
wow, bro. It's like you know sometimes like you just sit back and watch like, damn, bro, like
this is where we're at.
this is where we're at against Burnley. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm watching,
Hmm.
like I don't know, bro. Like you watch, you know, Dominic Sloboslai score a free kick and the way he celebrates. You know, this is like the best team in the league going up against, you know, the second best team, whatever, another good team in the league. And it's like, wow, this is our captain, as if you just, you know, like you won the World Cup, and it's like, bro, I don't know. And it's funny, man. The people that I just brought up, those two people are gonna continue hurting us all season. Diego Delo, Bruno Fernandez. Bruno, you should have cashed in on him when Al Hilal came in earlier in the summer, but no, but not, man. It's
Hey, Delo had an assist.
So my question to you is, you know, through their first three games, we can all argue and say that the Arsenal loss was tough and it was a bad loss, but you guys played decently well. You know, game two, you can, you know, kind of say what you want to say about that one. And then Grimsby was bad overall. But then, you know, you come back and you win a match like this, you get your first goal from open play. That's not an own goal. And I know it's early, it's mad early, but you guys have played four matches. You're starting to see some players in there. Xerxes getting in, even though I think Xerxes should honestly get more time. Um, do you see some positives from Ruben Amorim? I mean, he had a whole from January till May last year. He finally gets a summer with these guys. It's been a roller coaster ride, but you're starting to see some positives. I hope.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's certain aspects of what he does. I think we run harder. I think we definitely didn't do that before. I think a lot to that is just with some of the newer guys that we have in. But for me, man, it's not even like that Arsenal game is just like an anomaly for me because when I look at all the games that we've played, we've had more games where we've played and we've just like bad and we haven't looked good than that Arsenal game. I think the Arsenal game, first game of the season, we're at home. To be fair, Arsenal really wasn't at their best. I think just the emotion going into match day one, that kind of helped us. But no, I mean, when you look at all the other games, more or less, yes, we won this past game, but it wasn't a great game by any means. I mean, yes, like we win the ball up further up the pitch, but like we can't finish. You know what I'm saying? Mason Mount does a great job of running around, disrupting play, intercept the ball. We pass it to this one person. He doesn't. We can't make the goals, bro. So like,
So that was actually gonna be my second question. How do you, because I said this in the group chat, or when we were talking prior to the game, and I said I feel like if you move Mason Mount closer to where your midfield is, as in closer to Casemiro, and you let him do the running, and you kind of move Bruno away from where he has to have those defensive responsibilities and do all the running, you see a better outcome. Do you like where Mason Mount kind of was positioned in this game? Because he was doing a lot for you guys. Whether or not you want to admit, I mean, he's not going to show up on the score sheet, but the running he did, the
yeah,
winning the ball in the middle third, the advancing the ball, like you said, whether or not you guys capitalize off of that, that's a different issue. But I think, that Ugarte, Casemiro, we can all agree that was not working. So now you have a young, more spry guy, someone who's able to, and he's techie as well. Like, let's not say like Mason Mount has some shots on goal as well. But do you like him being more active in the midfield? Is what my main question is.
I mean, I've always recognized his strengths. He's not a player that's going to wow you, but I think over the course of he's a useful person to have in your team. Like I see the positives that he brings to a team, but I think none of that really matters, and I don't think it really matters who it is if we're just playing with the little double pivot in midfield because we're going to get outmanned in midfield every game. Every person has showed you to do that. Smith Rowe and Iwobi has told you, like, we're just going to overload their midfield, and, like, there's really nothing. It's just a man game at that point. We have three, you have two. So, like, people want to say Casemiro, people want to say Ugarte this, but it's like, bro, you could put Makalele there, you could put N'Golo Kante there, man. It's if you're outmanned 2v4, it just is what it is. But to answer your question, no. Like I like Mason Mount where he is. Unfortunately, now he's hurt though. So it's just kind of what his story has been in a United shirt. You have glimpses of him looking good, and now he's out. But no, I mean, and it's frustrating because he does bring good things to the table, but you can't stay healthy, bro. And like, doesn't really matter how I feel about you. You're out for a few weeks now again. So yeah, shout out to
That's
bro.
fair. That's fair. I mean, I feel like that's a good place to end United. Like I said during our summer interview when we did our Premier League preview, I don't know why you put United finishing in the top six because there's going to be a lot of growing pains with this team. However, I do think you guys finish on the top half of the table. I'll definitely say that much. And even through the first 3 weeks, losing to Grimsby, it was probably the little jump start y'all needed. It definitely gave Ruben Amorim something to think about. But
Telling you,
look,
bro.
United is going to be the most exciting team to watch, whether that's good or bad.
We can still finish there. If we get a different manager, we can still finish there. It's still early enough in the season.
I don't think you guys. I know how you feel in your heart, but y'all ain't letting them go.
Hey, Ole, Jose, and
Ten Hag.
Ten Hag are all available.
That's the coaching staff right there. That's the coaching staff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bring Jose with this team. What?
Double
Look,
R doing scouting and recruiting. But to end it on Chelsea, controversial first half, and the fact that Fulham got their goal overturned, but we did what we had to do. We went in and we got our 2 goals. Joao Pedro, another goal, another brilliant match. I honestly don't have too much to say about it because I do really feel for Fulham. I don't think that was a goal. I don't think it was a foul in the lead up to the goal. And I know, like Mike said, you've seen fouls like that, and to be honest, I haven't really seen many fouls like that where an attacker in the middle of the field.
I saw Aubameyang get a red for that. I saw Aubameyang get a red for that. I'm sorry. We all sat here and talked about it and was like, man, he shouldn't have gotten a red for it, but I've seen it happen.
I guess it was similar, but yeah, I don't know. That's one of those things where you kind of just look at the official, and this time we were on the receiving end where it worked in our favor. It's week 3. We got 35 more weeks. We're gonna get one that we're not on the positive side of, a controversial call. But outside of that, I think Chelsea. I think what we're building is good. Keeping clean sheets is huge for us. That's been one of the things that I think me and Mike have talked about on this podcast a lot. Can we keep clean sheets? Chelsea is always his best when we have a very strong defense, when we have a very strong attacker in our striker. And, we clearly have that now in Joao Pedro. Unfortunately for Delap, it looks like he's going to be injured for a little bit. But right now, Chelsea is looking like the Chelsea that I grew up on. Keeping clean sheets, getting these kind of gritty but hard-fought wins. 1 goal was a PK. So for us, I mean, things are moving along the way I think they should. Like I said at the beginning of the year, this team should be in top 4. We're in 4 competitions, so we have to figure out how we're going to rotate our players. But I fully expect to go for every competition that we're in, whether it be Carabao, FA Cup, the league, Champions League. I think we have a good chance on winning a few trophies this year. I really do. So the fact that we can just start off this strong, no losses as of yet, a couple clean sheets on the year, I like where we're headed.
Absolutely. I agree with you. We've started the season off right. Only 1 goal conceded so far. I believe 6 goals scored, 7 goals scored. Yeah, so far so good, man. It's sad that Delap is going to be out for 2 months, but this is Margui's time. Hey, show us what you can do. He got recalled from Sunderland, so you're back to show us what you can do. Overall, man, no complaints really, but I agree with you. The first half, we didn't look so good in the first half. Fulham was kind of going at us, and even their goal getting called back, it's harsh, but hey, I'm glad it went in our favor. But overall, man, I don't have any complaints, man. I'm just more interested to see how we look against these top teams. I know the big one we have coming up is United, and I kind of want to see how we do against the teams in the top 6 or the top 6 teams, quote unquote. But yeah, so far so good, man. Joao Pedro, I mean, absolute perfect signing for us. Just seems to fit. Is at the right place at the right time. I like his aggressiveness, especially during those corners. I mean, he's always looking to get some type of contact on the ball. So I can't complain, man. I think we look good, man. I'm happy with where we're at. No losses, 2 clean sheets. Even though 1 was a 0-0 draw, I'll still take it. But yeah, going into the international break with where we stand on the table, second on the table, I think we went into the break with some confidence, and when we come back, we're still in London at Brentford. So if we can keep it going, it sets us up for a really good game with United.
Yeah, I think I was even talking about this over the summer. I believe out of our first 6 or 7 matches, most of them are in London.
Yeah,
So this is time for us, whether it's home or away, to just understand that it's very advantageous for us to not really have to travel, the first couple of
absolutely.
months of the season, and
Hmm.
to really just use this time to do what we're supposed to do. Like you said, only one goal against. I believe we have 6 or 7 goals for. That's how
Hmm.
you want to start the season. You know that Liverpool's going to score. You know Arsenal's going to score. You know
Yeah.
that City. I mean, maybe City not so much as they used to, but we
Hmm.
know that there are teams that are going to be scoring, and so we have to keep that goal tally high as well, just to make sure that we stay where we want to stay in the league.
Hmm. Yeah, I quickly want to touch on City though. City went down against Brentford 2-1 in actually very entertaining game. What do you
Brighton,
got? We
Brighton.
spoke a little, Brian. I'm sorry. We spoke a little bit about City last week, and we all agreed this is not a very scary team. Ryan Turkey just went down also for I believe he will be out maybe 2 months if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Um, with the way Liverpool have restructured and rebooted their team, I mean, is City making top four in danger? I mean, I know it's early, but
Yes. Not even a crazy shout. Yes, they're in danger. His team is. I told y'all his team is not the same. His team is completely different. I don't know. That they're in danger for top four. As I know it's early, but as we speak right now, injuries included, I can name 4 teams better than them
wow,
easily.
okay.
So yeah, I think it's in danger.
Yeah, I mean, to Gabriel's point, I mean, I know it's only been 3 games so far, but it's hard. It's hard to bet against Liverpool. It'd be hard to bet against um, Arsenal, even with the guys that they have out. Chelsea look like a really good team, man. They look like it's probably not going to come from one source, but I feel like you guys are just going to score from in bunches. So, and then I don't know, bro. The fourth spot, Tottenham could make a case for that. They've already beat City already this year. Um, so yeah, man, I think losing Turkey obviously is a big loss for them. Now you're kind of looking around. Where's that creativity going to come from? Holland, if I'm being honest, just looks like a passenger if he's not getting any service in the ball. So he's really not going to really show
Uh,
you, what he can really do and influence the game the way he does. So yeah, and I think Yasser actually brought this up. Um, I don't know, man. This City team is very different. To Gabriel's point too, just even from the way that they play, bro.
yeah.
It's almost like too direct now. It's like Pep, you came over, you brought your tiki taka, you've been here for as long as you are, and now you're playing direct. That's not your game. So it'll be interesting. But the one thing Guardiola has shown is that he continues to evolve. And I'm curious to see what this next evolution looks like with this team, if there is one. But um, yeah, I mean, I think for sure top four is definitely a concern right now. I mean, where are you right now? You're 15th.
13th. I mean, I personally think they've had some good signings this summer, but realistically speaking, these were not the types of players they usually bring in, right? City is known to be bringing in the finished product, you would say, or somewhat the finished product. Eight Nuri this weekend. I'm sorry, he was getting. He had a tall task for this past weekend. I know a lot of people like him. I used to like him, but I just don't see the consistency. That's my only issue with him. A Nuri can have a great game one game and then just fall off the next game. And that was my concern with him. Just can he play at the level City needs him to play at? Where it's week in, week out, you have to win against whoever you're going with. And I just don't see that. I don't see him winning those matchups every game. And we saw it this past weekend. He just didn't look that good. So I don't know. I think some of the transfers they've made, yeah, they were good players. I don't know if
these are the type of players we've seen them get. And I don't know. I just think Pep is trying to do something different. And I don't know what it is, but I can tell he's trying to do something different. We also heard what Gundogan is gone now. So I mean, most of the guys are gone. This is this is a pretty new team.
Yeah, I do agree. I feel like he is trying to do something different. And I mean, we kind of talk about, I mean, when we talk about Pep, we know that he can figure it out at the drop of a hat. I mean, even last year, we look at what they looked like in the second half of the season, and they were kind of under the radar, losing games, drawing matches, not really winning in the City fashion, and then out of nowhere they were top four again. So I feel like it's good that we're seeing City this vulnerable. We know that this isn't a team that has the same strength as it used to, but we can't really take that for granted as well, because we know once Pep does figure it out, this City team can go, as Gabriel likes to say, 13 unbeaten. They can easily just go on a run. So for me, I think we do have to watch out for the City team, but it's just a matter of time until they start clicking. Whatever this new City will look like, I feel like they have enough players and the quality, with Rodri back, just to make things happen. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with the City team. But before we wrap up, I do want to ask about a few teams that were in that top four, top five, top six race that this year we haven't seen play that way at all. When we think about Aston Villa, when we think about Nottingham Forest of last year, they haven't started off so hot. So I want to kind of just hone in on Villa a little bit. We don't have to take too much time, but what do we think is going on there?
They're not as good as we thought they were. You're exactly who we thought. I always like to call them hipsters, and now here we are. The sad part is I think that they're right above the relegation zone.
They're in the relegation, I
They
think.
are in the relegation zone. I apologize. I didn't scroll further. I didn't scroll further enough. But no, man, I think offensively, obviously, they're struggling to score. Defensively, they're struggling to keep goals out. Um, that back line needs work. And I don't know, man. I just I think with how well they did this year, I felt like they didn't invest as a team that finished in that position should have, to really kind of solidify your spot. Because again, it's not just you. I mean, we'll talk about Newcastle here in a second. We'll talk about Nottingham Forest. Even teams like Brighton. Tottenham and United weren't, very competitive last year in terms of the table, but you would have expected them to have a bounce back as well too. And you watched kind of all those other teams invest, and you didn't, and you're kind of just at a standstill. So I know that they wanted to bring in Rashford on a long term deal that didn't work out.
You're
Now
bringing Sancho.
there you go. So I mean, you have that going for you. And I think that he'll help, but I don't know, bro. I don't think that they invested as they should have.
So with
And I
Villa
think
is weird because I know they had like some FFP issues, or
Hmm.
they had to sell players, but even with the selling of players, they weren't allowed to buy X amount of players. So I know there was some issues going on there, but just based on their team in general, I feel like from where they finished last year and they didn't lose too many players. I would have expected them to be a little bit better.
right, but last year, like you sold Durant for what you sold him for. Like what happened? I'm expecting you to kind of re up and invest. Like where's that at?
I
I know that
believe
they
they
brought.
sold Ramsey too, right?
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
how is to a direct rival? Yeah, like they're not like doing well right now, Newcastle, but it's like
Leon Bailey too.
Yep. Roma.
exactly. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like the Leon Bailey, I think went out of the league, right? He's
Yeah.
he's out of the Premier League. But like, back to the Ramsey move, it's like you're sending him to a direct rival. Like that's not, you know, that'd be us like selling someone to like Tottenham right now and being like, oh, I didn't. What do you mean? Like I don't know, bro. And I mean, if they have financial fair play issues, it is what it is there. But you have to question, like, you sold Durant for what you did last year, and you didn't really make any crazy moves. So, like, I don't know. It's a tough position to be in if you're Unai, because I mean, he's shown you that he can kind of get the job done if he's reinforced. But obviously, for whatever reason, that hasn't happened, and they are where they are for a reason.
Yeah, we talked about Newcastle a little bit earlier. I don't know if you guys have anything more to say about Villa, but Newcastle, without Isak, it looks like they're in trouble. Obviously, they just read up at the end of the transfer window here, but Salam, you like to call this team hipster too. Do you think Eddie Howe has finally run his race, or do you think it was just getting that whole Isak saga out of their, out of the ether over there with the tunes?
With them specifically, I think that it's they're very unlucky. Um, I wouldn't even really say that they've played bad necessarily. I mean, the Liverpool game, Anthony Gordon, you kind of sold that game. You shouldn't have did what you did. You got sent off, and ultimately, you could have argued that could have been the difference in the game. But no, I mean, obviously, I think losing. I mean, Isak wasn't playing though either, so you can't even use that like against them. But
No, I'm just saying the whole drama
I mean,
behind
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Clearly, even on week one, you got Bruno Guimaraes saying, we need our best player back. Stuff like that. That
right.
reverberates throughout the locker room. If you don't necessarily know what's going on, you might expect him to play, you might not, and then he goes away on Sweden. So I'm just saying, not him, just his whole absence, just like the whole
Yeah. No, you're
whole
right. That's a great
situation in
point.
itself.
That's a
Yeah,
great point.
it's a distraction. Yeah.
No, it's a distraction, and like you said, I mean, you guys accomplished what you accomplished. You're in the Champions League now, and I mean, aside from Isak, yes, that was looming over them. Newcastle has had a howler of a transfer window, though. All the guys that they wanted to get all ended up on different teams. Think about that, right? You wanted Cunha, you went to a team that was worse than you, that finished in 15th place. You wanted Mbeumo, same thing. You wanted Ekitike, he wanted. You wanted Margehi, he wanted somewhere else. There's a few more guys that
Joao Pedro.
You wanted Joao Pedro, he went to Chelsea. Like, it wasn't even like, I don't know. I think more than anything, which is why I have my stance with where they are. Like, I think that they're an exciting team. I think they've been an exciting team, but when it comes down to it, bro, it's gonna be hard for you to sustain your level of success because of situations like this now. I mean, now look at you. Your best player is gone. You guys are in a funk. You've invested how much on this young kid? You don't even know what he's gonna do. You're scrambling last day. Wusa's a good signing, but it's like Wusa, he wasn't. You wanted all these guys, and then you landed on him. Like, come on, bro. And I think again, like, that's another example of a team that, I mean, they're going to struggle. You're in Champions League too. All the guys that are sitting there now are like, damn, I thought we were building this project and now we're selling our best players. So now if I'm a Bruno Guimaraes, I'm sorry, how you say his name, but I'm looking around like, damn, this is a problem. And I'm telling you, bro, this Newcastle team, I would not be surprised if this is going to be one of many stories I feel like we'll monitor this situation, but this season. But I think they're in trouble.
Okay.
No, fair enough. I feel like that's a good place to end it on the Prem. There are a lot of teams that we could talk about, but before we, just start rambling on, Gabriel, how do we do on our locks this week?
Yeah, you're on mute.
Sorry, locks were not great this week. 1 for 3, but all good. Have some off weeks, have some down weeks, but we'll have a little 2-week break. We'll have some next fresh ones for you come September. I think the matches are on that Saturday, so the 13th.
Tottenham, man.
Yeah, I know. Tottenham. Any shout outs?
Yeah. I'll go first, man. My shout out this week is actually going to go to the Seattle Sounders, man. I felt like, one of the best examples of what an expansion team should look like. I think they hit the league in 2007. And I don't know. I think that they're the blueprint for a lot of these expansion teams. They've won every MLS honor you can win as a team. And this was a team that was founded in 2007. That's a lot more than some of
Yeah.
the other teams that have been around for a while. So no, I think that they're a great example for the league. Obviously I live here in Cincinnati, so seeing what we're doing obviously is great, but I feel like they're definitely one of the pioneers of setting the example of how to run an expansion team and how to get them competing. And I think that um, teams like Cincinnati, teams like San Diego, um, are direct, results of what they've been able to show. So shout out to them and massive win for them over the weekend. And I think that it was a statement, man. A lot of people have been saying that. A lot of people are not really rocking with this whole Inter Miami thing.
No,
You know
no.
what I'm saying? Like they're saying that they're trying to buy everything. I don't
Yeah.
know if you guys remember when Orlando beat them not too long ago. There was a thing of like there was like a tifo or something like you can't buy your way to the top, you have to earn it or something like that. So I mean, that same sentiment like resonates with a lot of people
Yeah.
who I guess support and follow the league. So that's
No, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about, this Messi deal and how, given the MLS to Apple has kind of, brought the viewership a little bit down, the numbers down. So, and people think it all has to do with this in the Miami team. So,
Hmm.
yeah, it's a lot of MLS fans. They're becoming like the hated team in the MLS. So, but yeah, my shout out it actually goes to San Diego. It's funny Salam brought them up. Um, we didn't get to touch too much about the MLS, but I think there's something interesting going on in the West that we have to kind of shine some light on because this San Diego team, this is a very new team in the MLS. I believe is this year, right? Yeah, this
yeah,
year.
for sure.
Top of the league. And the champions at the bottom of the league. I don't know if we've seen this before, but this is something we should be watching. This is a space we should be watching. San Diego might do something we've probably never seen before. They could go on and win the MLS Cup. This is a really good side, and we're gonna have a MLS champion finish at the bottom of the league. Just a few months after winning the league, so I think this is a space we should watch out for. But yeah, shout out to San Diego, man.
Mine is going to a Premier League mainstay, man. Shout out to James Milner. He just scored this past weekend in Brighton's 2-1 win over City. And it's officially recorded that he is now the second youngest player to ever score in the Prem and the second oldest player to score in the Prem.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy just to have that stat to be the second oldest player. Just goes to show the longevity that he's had in the league. And he's still doing it at the highest level, man. Brighton just beat City. He's obviously still a main part of this Brighton team. And he brings a lot of experience. He brings a lot of leadership. And I think that's what this Brighton team needs. They always have a good crop of young players, but you need someone to be able to take the game by the horn sometimes. And James Milner will definitely do that, even if he doesn't play all 90 minutes. So just wanted to give him a shout out.
Yeah, man, I'll be real quick. Once again, man, just shout out Jack Grealish. I'm just happy to see the guy balling 4 assists in 3 matches. Man, I used to think Everton was going to get relegated like some of these years of how poor they were playing, and now they look so much better just with Jack Grealish. Yeah, no, shout out Jack Grealish, man, my guy.
Yeah, a lot of people forget that, like he was the talisman for Aston Villa. He was the guy for Aston Villa, and it's you go to a situation, especially Pep. He really dumbs down your game. So yeah, that's a great shout out. But
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, it seems like the fans really love him over there.
Yeah,
They really, and he even said it in one. I think it was last match or 2 matches ago. He said he found his love for football again. You could tell it on the pitch.
yeah, no, most definitely. Yeah, fellas, 3 match days. We're already into our first international break. Yeah, man. But luckily for you guys, if you're watching, through this point of the episode, we do have a special interview dropping this week on Wednesday with former MLS player. You'll have to wait. But I always appreciate everybody for tuning in. Always appreciate your guys' continued support and appreciate you pulling up to the kickback. Thank you.
Yes, sir.